you so
You
much.
can call me Chari.
Okay, thank you so much for joining this interview. So, how are you, Charita? Everything fine?
Oh yeah, just working from home for the past 3.5 months. Haven't been to the office. Yeah, so far things are good, but the COVID situation is getting tense over here, and yeah, just seeing what's going to happen and just waiting. How about you?
Yes, I'm fine. I'm fine. But the COVID situation is actually this continent, the subcontinent, the COVID situation is very worst. Especially the
Hmm.
Indian variant has already been seen in our country. So we are actually very
So you're
afraid.
in Bangladesh, right?
Yes, I'm from Bangladesh. So uh,
How the situation over there? Is fine or things
situation
are
we
getting?
are, we are locked down. Our country is
Hmm.
totally locked down. No, it's not total lockdown, it's partial lockdown, but the situation is not so good because people are getting infected day by day. Death rate has decreased, but not quite satisfactory.
So what was the average death rate over there now?
Now the death rate is 50 per day.
50. Oh, that's
So this is the thing. So comparative, if I compare with India, so situation is better,
much better, no?
much better. Anyway, so
Yes.
let's get back to the interview. So, Charita,
Yeah.
so you are looking after SAP MM module, right?
Yes, that now currently, yes, I am now working as a solution architect for MS Holdings, but I was a MM consultant, yes, a few years back.
So, can you tell me
Currently,
something about SAP MM?
come again?
Please tell me
Sorry,
something
sir. What?
about. Am I clear to you? Am I audible?
Now it's audible because the previous line was breaking.
Okay. So my question was, tell me something about SAP MM module.
SAP MM module. Okay, so basically SAP MM module is where the material masters, POs, MRP, and your inventory and everything comes into play on the supply chain area. So basically, so it is like the most important cross-functional module, and it has a lot of dependencies on all the other modules as well. So for me, I think MM is the key function in the SAP module apart from finance. So that sets the stage for the entire supply chain process from a business point of view.
Okay, so Charity, this is a very initial phase of the recruitment process. So you will be asked
Yeah,
very basic questions from
sure.
SAP module, but you can answer in your own way. Okay, so you can put your
Yeah,
expertise and skill in the answers anyway. So
yeah.
let me ask you another question. So can you tell me what is the difference between a purchase requisition and a purchase order?
Okay, purchase requisition is where you get the demand from MRP run. So you have a BOM and you have a sales order and your finished good. So you run MRP. So according to your demand, so what your BOM consumption, your requirement get generated. So that's called purchase requisition. PO is the requirement converted into a order where you would be sending that to a vendor to do your procurement. So PO would be the legal document between the vendor and the customer to in order to proceed with the procurement process and XMIL date to GRN and other details. So basic difference between PR and the PO is PR is where you get the demand. PO is the legal document where you send it to your vendor in order to get your goods in.
Okay, wait. So my next question, what are the components of the master data that details a company's procurement used by
Yeah.
vendor evaluation, for example?
Master data, can you repeat the question if you don't mind? Yeah.
Okay, so my question is, what are the components of the master data that details a company's procurement used by vendor evaluation?
Okay, so for master data on the vendor evaluation. So basically, your standard price
Hmm.
and your quality module and your quantity would determine the vendor evaluation basically. So I would say the standard price would determine the price, and from the material master's point of view, the quality data and the relevant material details, I would say.
Okay. Okay. So Charita, I was actually seeing your CV, and I
Yeah.
came to know that you have completed your graduation and post graduation from UK, right?
Yep. Yes.
So can you tell me the story?
So my career, how it progressed, is it?
Hmm.
Okay, so as I left my high school in 2000, so as soon as I left school, I started off my software development certificate for course with Australian Institute of Homeschooling, TAFE, and I completed that. Then I started my software development diploma, uh, and I completed that, and then I worked at a company called Informatics Software Development in Sri Lanka. I worked as a software developer. So after 1 year's time, I went to Singapore and I did my high studies, as in I did my computer science degree there. I was there for 4 years. I completed my degree and came back to Sri Lanka back in 2007. So then I started off my career as a SAP controller at MS Holdings. So what I did there was basically we did the audits and we checked the system and the physical movement and the process alignment and see whether the users are adhering to the process that we have implemented and see whether it has where the relevant components are made and stocks are done and the physical process and the system process are aligned. So I and then we got internal training as well there for 3 months. So after that, after 2008, I got selected as a associate consultant for PP module in the MS Active SAP core team. So I was there for 2 years. Then we did one implementation. That's the FSFE cutover. I worked as an associate consultant there. Then after next year, we had the 6.0 technical cutover. So I worked there as a consultant. I got promoted as a consultant for the PP module, that is production planning. Then I was there for a few years. Then I just thought of just switching my role to a different module. Then I moved into MM module. I worked as a MM consultant for 2 years, and I worked at a project called Project Darwin. That was the second largest SAP implementation in South Asia after India Reliance Company. So what we did was we merged the entire MS holding 5 companies into one. So I played there as I joined the team as a MM consultant, and after 2 years, I became the module lead or the module head for the MM consulting or the supply chain module. Then we went live with the 5 business strategic units there. And as soon as I finished, I started my master's in supply chain management and logistics because I have very computer science background. And for me to do my consulting job, I felt that having a technical knowledge would not help me. So I thought of just, educating myself on the business process on the supply chain area as well. Then in 2017, I completed my supply chain and logistic masters from University of Birmingham. And then also I was done with my project. So I just joined back my company or team. Then I was asked to take a PM role where I was playing the ITBM. It's called IT Business Relationship Manager, where I was the conduit between the two entities, where I got the requirements, I finalized everything, I did a feasible study whether it suits the business and what's the cost impact for that. And it's an intercompany service module. So I played a PM role there as well. So what I did was when the change request comes from the businesses, I evaluate them, I give the timelines, I assign the consultant and verify the cost. And I always make sure that it doesn't spill over on our cost elements that we have not done. So after that, what we did was basically then there was a restructuring in the company. So they were asked me to take the solution architect role in the supply chain uh, area for the entire MS Holdings. So currently, I work as a SAP, not only SAP, the overall software solution architect on the supply chain behalf of MS Holdings. So there, what I do is basically I vet the requirements, I see what impact that has for the bottom line. So then I approve the projects, and also we have outsourced our variable cost or the development cost to our third parties like other companies who did software developments. So while that I give the estimates and I evaluate the system changes and things like that, and then I pass that to the relevant delivery team in order to proceed with the relevant outsourced parties. And on and off, I'll go and check whether the implementations and the development of the build are according to the specs that we have given, and I check on the cost element as well. And also I give the approval on the process. So that's what I do currently with my job on MS Holdings. So
Thank you so much for the nice introduction. So, I would like to ask you a question. So, what do you understand by material master, and how material master is maintained in SAP system?
so sir, I'm getting a background noise. Just hold on for a bit. Okay, can you say that again, because I just got a background noise.
Okay, so it
But
was
it's clear
Azan
now.
basically. Anyway, my question
I
is
think it's
what?
must, right?
Yes, yes, it's Azan. So, what do you understand by material master, and how material master is maintained in SAP system?
Okay, I think material master is the key component of the costing element in a business. So material master sets the 60% of the business capacity and the volume. So it plays a major role in the whole entire system, and how you place them, how you cost them, how you do the stock holding, so how you do the quality verification, everything matters. So for me, I think Material Masters is the key element in SAP, where it sets the role for the entire process, and it sets the value, the context of the value, and also it sets the inventory, stock, and what you're going to purchase and what you're going to buy. Everything depends. And I think the key element what we need to do here is that the material masters has to be very accurate and precise, details has to be there. So even for you to do any evaluation, or even nowadays, if you look at the current context like big data and data analytics and things like that, if you have like history with the proper master data, that would set the whole process easy for us to analyze and do things like that. So if you have proper master data, so that would be the key element in any business to make their profit and run smoothly, and it can set the space of the business as well. So that's how I see master data in SAP system and also in any other business process, if you look at it.
Okay, okay, thank you so much. My next question, what are the steps needed to configure pricing procedure in SAP AML?
Pricing procedure. Sorry, I really can't remember the configs. I haven't touched it for a few days.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
So my next question, so what are the various steps involved in procurement cycle of SAP AML?
Come again?
What are the various steps involved in procurement life cycle of SAP AML?
Procurement life cycle in MM. I'm not too sure, not clear on the question. As in,
my question was, what are the various steps involved in procurement cycle of SAP AML? Like, let me give you in determining the requirements of material. This could be one steps.
okay, so Okay.
did you mind
So
to
yeah, I
discuss?
got it. So basically, so you need to have your material masters ready with the relevant pricing in it, and it needs to add it to a BOM. This material master has to be on a BOM. This BOM has to be attached to a finished good. This finished good has to have a sales order. So once you have a sales order and finished good uh, in the material master, so once you run MRP, what happens is your demand gets generated in SAP. So that's called PR. So once you have a PR, what happens is based on the demand, MOQs on the vendors, and also your excess stock reserves in the inventory. So you deduct if there are MOQs, you can allocate it. If you have excess stocks, you allocate into the PR, and the PR get adjusted. And once you do that, what happens is you get the leftover PR requirement. So you convert that into a PO. So once the PO is get created, you send that PO, the PDF file, or through a portal to the relevant vendor or the person who's doing the supply, and he will send you the PI confirmation and the XML dates. So based on that, we will set the GRN dates on the system. So once you receive the goods, what you do is you do a GRN system, and also you do the invoice verification. So once you do the invoice verification, if things have come or delivered as we have planned, so we will do the payments or to the invoice verification to the relevant vendors based on the details on the GRN and the invoice verification. So once it's happened, once you GRN, what we do is if you have the quality module activated on the system, we do a 3-to-1 if the quality is passed or it's rise on the QR stock or the QI stock. Once you pass it, it will move to the UR stock. That would be your usable stock. So based on the production order requirement, so what you do is you would issue to your relevant production order to fulfill the demand on the production lines or the manufacturing units. So that's how the whole procurement process happens, starting from material master up until the GR and issue.
Okay, okay, thank you. So, Charita, sir, how many people are working under you, and who do you report right now?
So I directly report to my CIO. So currently, I have only 3 people working with me because we had a VRS scheme, and we get rid of like nearly 70 people in our team. So before that, so I had 27 people in my team. That was last year. So now I just have just 2 developers and 2 junior consultants working with me. And as I mentioned before, our variable cost has been outsourced. So we just play the middle role here and be in the conduit between MAS and the outsourced parties. So now I have only 3, but I had a team of 27 people in my team previously. So before we had the structure.
Okay, so imagine a situation in which a teammate wants to solve a problem in a certain way, but your boss has a very different approach in mind. Your colleagues comes to you asking for help in deciding on the right approach. So in that situation, what do you do?
So what you meant to say is my colleagues will come with different approach. I have a different approach in my mind. So when they elaborate the process, what I do, right? What do you want to know?
Yes.
Okay, so basically, it's always, I think that's business as usual scenario, because I always have something how I have defined the whole process in the system. But my junior consultants or my consultants comes with different approach. What we always do is we evaluate the whole process. We always think everybody's right. So that's the approach we take. So we listen to them and we weigh the pros and cons. So I have, let's say, you have, I'm planning to set a procurement process in place, and I have set of things in my mind where I thought of doing the configurations in ABCD structure, where there are multiple ways you can do the same process in SAP. So he might have different approach. So what we do is we vet the whole requirement, the process, how we has defined, how we have defined, and we see whether it suits the business, what are the repercussions or effect it would have if you do this, and plan A and plan B. And if I feel the junior consultant has a better way, so we would always go for it. But what we do is before that we evaluate and discuss among the team, because when we had the wider team, what we did was we just had an open forum in the morning. So we just just thinking out loud in the morning meeting and see whether what suits best for us. So once we come to agreement, we vet it, we see the pros and cons, and we implement the best possible, the best solution that would impact the business, and we proceed with that. So that's the approach we normally take in a day-to-day life when we have multiple thoughts coming in for the same thing.
Okay. So, are you interested in analytics?
Analytics, yes, I have to be, because when we look at the process, we always now the business scenario has, or the business dynamics have changed. So where there was we propose a solution, business says yes, but now the scenario has changed where everybody is looking at data-driven culture. So that's what they do, because even for their GRNs to purchase anything or to do a new setup process, what we do is we just check past data history or how they have behaved. So analytics plays a major role, and yes, I'm very much keen on it, and I'm learning on that as well now.
Okay, that's great. So, for example, your boss wants to buy new software or hardware that will increase the organization's productivity, and he asks for your recommendations. So, how would you reply?
I'm not too clear on the question. So,
My
if you
question
can,
was, for example, so your boss, he wants to buy a new software or hardware
software, okay.
that he
Uh-huh.
believes that it will increase the organizational productivity, and asks
Okay.
for your recommendations. In that situation, what would you reply?
So I was proposed to buy new software, and I have to see how it impact the business productivity. And what was the other question?
My question is, what if he asks for any recommendation? How would you reply actually? How would
Okay,
you?
so how would I reply if somebody asks me the question, right? So basically what happens is, okay, so there are plenty of softwares out there in the market and plenty of hardware out there in the market. So what we do is we see the current context of the current business dynamics and what the requirement is. So let's say people can say, okay, this software would increase efficiency by 60%. Somebody can say your process will be aligned. But what we do is we always check and see what it gives, whether it has an impact on our bottom line, basically, whether it's going to bring us some money. Because ultimately, whether you buy a software or you just do it as you do it usually, what matters to us is the bottom line, or what matters to the business. So what we do is we will evaluate that and see whether it has an impact overall. If it has an impact, then we will definitely going to evaluate whether it can bring the result what they say, because software sales team can say many things. This software can do wonders. This is how it happens. But if you take the reality, the implement softwares most of the time it doesn't have that impact what we are expecting. Yeah, and also just implementing a software, it would not bring the productivity for a company. So there's a change management that you need to do in order to set the whole process in place. And we have to see all the business dynamics, how it's going to impact our productivity and how it's going to. So by doing that, by evaluating all these things only, we would be recommending any software or hardware for business. So that's how it happens. Yeah. I hope I answered your question.
Nice answer. So, can you describe a project or any situation where you successfully demonstrated your analytical skills.
As in, you just want me to explain some project that I have done, is it?
And you demonstrate your analytical skills there.
Sure, sure. Okay. So we implement RPA project or robotic process automation with SAP in our day-to-day procurement process for one of our business strategic units. So what we did was, so when we work with Nike, so we are apparel business. So every other week we receive a buy from them, and we have to procure our RMs, and we have to use our MOQ stocks and also excess stocks which are there on the system. So if we can use our MOQs and the excess stock which is left on the system, so that's going to save us a lot of money. So basically we have done analytics, and we felt per buy, if you properly use these MOQ stocks and the leftover stocks in the system, we could save nearly 200,000 to 300,000 USD per buy. That is per 2 weeks. So if you do that, it would be for 2 months time, it would be nearly 600,000 or plus. So what we did was, using our RPA technology, we learned the bot to do the SAP inventory, check the SAP inventory with the materials, and we teach them how to allocate excess stocks for the sales or the PRs, and reduce the PR quantities. And also we teach the bot to allocate the MOQ stocks. And what we did was, so once we did that, the bot start allocating stock more accurately than a human can do. Because if you look at a buy, so we are talking about 300 to 3,000, 4,000 sales orders, and this sales orders has, like, every finished good has nearly 30, 40 raw materials. So every raw material has a number of stocks lying on the system, and also there are a number of MOQ stock lying there. So for a person, it is very cumbersome job to do Excel, even a VLOOKUP. So once you train the bot or RPA machine or the UiPath machine, so it learned fast. So it has allocated the stock very accurately and very efficiently. So where the cost of the whole project we estimated for 80, the cost of the project was 80K, so 80,000 USD, and business spent that money on the RPA technology with the consultants, and we implement the whole process. And first buy was a failure, so we couldn't achieve it properly. But we captured all the elements what we have done on errors, and we captured, and we did the same thing on the second buy. And what has allocated the stock as we have planned. And the first buy itself, we had 120,000 USD saving on the process. And now every month we are looking at around 100,000 to 200,000 approximately gain on the bottom line by after implemented this process. And I think that's one of the best projects where we have done recently, using RPA technology into SAP. So this has impacted IMAs, or the company that I'm working, a lot on the bottom line. And we are going to roll it out, the same technology, for other business strategic unit that we have. And it has become one of the successful stories in our MS Holdings as well. Yeah.
Great. Thank you. So, Charita, we are almost in the end of our conversation. So, hopefully, this is my last question. So, what is your definition of a good company? How would you define a good company?
Definition of a good company? Okay. So it has to be a very stable company. As in, if you look at it has to be, your bottom line has to be very stable. You have some cash flow, and your inventory has to be very low. Stock holding has to be very low. And also a company, it should be very employee driven, because not only because every company is customer driven, but also it has to be employee driven, because the company has to look after the employees as well. and also how you give the freedom for a employee to do the innovative thinking and come up with new things. And some what happens is some companies when you do innovative things, and if it fails, it becomes your fault. But I think a good company should always be focusing on employees as well, not only your customer. And for me, a good company would always be a company. The employer should look after your employees. That's how I look at a good company.
Okay, so what do you think? What should be the role of HR department in any company?
HR department. So HR department. So I think name says it all. So HR. So previously they called personal department. So now it has become HR human resource. So the
So
companies
my
have
question, my basically why I'm asking, because every organization has HR department, but most of the cases they cannot play the role the employee expects. Okay, so you are also saying that a company must be employee driven, not always profit. Sometimes they need to think about the employee, because employees are the most important asset in any organization.
yeah.
So if
Yeah.
they are fairly treated, then they will definitely add value to the company. So do you think HR has any role in these cases?
Of course, yes. I think HR department plays the major role in a company, because if your HR department is a rock, the the company becomes a failure. Because if you don't look after employees, if you don't treat your employees properly, if employees are treated badly, if you don't have a person whom you can go and have a chat and you can share your thoughts, I think then there's no point of having a company, because just having two individuals just can't run a company. I think if a bigger company has to have a good HR department, and I'm a firm believer the HR department can play a major role in any company, and it can change the entire way of working, and it can bring the company to a different level by how
So,
you treat them, how you bring that whole culture into
okay.
the
So are
equation.
you happy with your current organization's HR department?
Of course, I think we have a very, very, very good HR department. So because I have experience, because previously when I work, we had a lot of issues with the HR department. Now the company that I'm working with very, very employee driven. So we have a lot of surveys and discussions, and they come and individually personally just have a chat with you. They look at your requirements, and if there's anything that is not being done, they will personally go and do that thing. So my current company is I would say we have one of the best HR departments in the world. That's for sure.
That's great. Charita, thank you so much for joining this interview session. This is a very basic round of this interview. So
Yes.
once you are shortlisted here, then you will be asked to attend to the second round of interview, and we will be asked some more detailed question there related to your module.
Yes.
So I wish you a very good luck for the second round of interview. So thank you so much once again for attending, Charita. It was
Thank
nice
you.
talking to you.
Thank you. Same here.
Take care.
Have a good day. Stay safe.